What's going on, guys? It is Laser here with another weekend video analysis. It is 5:21 p.m. We're here to drop my analysis as to where I see Neil going. And normally we drop one of these videos on a Saturday morning. We're dropping it a little bit earlier here. That way I don't need to worry about getting it out on Saturday morning. And yeah, I'm sure you guys would appreciate kind of like an earlier update on my analysis as to where I see Neil going. Before I begin, I just want to quickly say that this is purely a technical analysis. It's purely my opinion. It has been wrong in the past before. I've had some people say, like, you know, why don't you factor in fundamental analysis? Why didn't you factor any of that in? And in my experience, I don't do a really good job doing an analysis on fundamental analysis, which is why I don't like to factor that in. And number two, I firmly believe in this thesis. I think it holds true that if there's big players that are going to bid the price up higher, we'll see the price action. The price action will speak for itself. You can agree to disagree with that, but that's just my opinion. Now, having said that, if you're making a big financial decision, please do your own research and do your own due diligence. I've been wrong in the past before, and I'm just going to let you know where I see Neil going into next week. I'm still eyeing another leg higher. And I still believe it's this consolidation is taking place. Now, are we going to get another dip next week before it goes? Or will it just run first thing on Monday? Now, when I go to the 4-hour time frame, notice that low that it made here. I hate that orange. I wonder if I can change it. Will it look better if I use yellow? No, it doesn't. We'll use blue. Light blue. That's better. Notice over here, the lower low. And what that meant was sellers pushed it down much faster than they did over here. And the sellers weren't really tapped out. They still have some ammo. Usually when the bottom hits, you get a higher low. That higher low kind of comes in. Doesn't always have to happen, but it is something that I see very, very often. And so I do believe, and if I were to draw a trend line out here, earlier into the week, it'll test 490 and you'll get that one more dip right down here. And if it does it on a gap down, even better. I love gap downs because those are the ones where they shake the most amount of people. And you usually get a bullish divergence there. So if it kind of just sweeps, you could still see that. It's crazy, but I think we could see a little bit more of this consolidation. Yes, the last time we had a really big run, it was like only like 10 days. We're getting close to that. Like, how many days has it been? 16 days now? Is that right? 16 days? Has it been that long? Holy cow. Okay, that's kind of the same almost. It was shorter. It was by then it doesn't have to be. But the reason I think this is going to happen is the velocity tells me that sellers are not done yet. They're going to maybe try and take it down one more time. And it doesn't necessarily have to go and sweep the lows. This area seems to always catch a bid there. And I would imagine that's what it would do again. Maybe it would go down and people may have some stop losses here. They'll still trigger stop losses and then it'll go. It did something similar here before it went. I want you to show you something. It went below that line, probably freaking people out. And then boom, snap back. And it ripped. So 4 hours is concerning. I go to the 2 hours. 2 hours is very promising. 2 hours. You know what the 2 hours tells me? The 2 hours tells me that after this next dip, it's ready to rip. Why? Count with me. Okay, that's one. Okay, and this is This is something that I've noticed and witnessed, a pattern that I see all the time. Here we go. Two trend lines breaking. Very often, not all the time, but very often, that tends to be, the next dip you get is going to be where the rip is going to take place. And I can already see that it's setting up for a drop. You see this rise and those wiggles? You're going to get like that drop. That drop is coming. There's going to be a dip. It's going to dip. It's going to do this. It's going to do that. It's going to look like a pretty sizable large candle. Been there, done that, guys. It's going to come down and then it's going to go. Why do I say it's going to go this time? Because that's the second trend line that has broken. And I can already see this thing is trying to curl up. That 2-hour time frame. And pretty much before everyone, you always get that knife. And I can see it. It's so obvious. It's coming. Now it doesn't have to happen, but that's what I see, guys. Don't bet the farm on it. Is what I'm gonna say. Take it with a grain of salt. I'm pretty sure you're gonna get something like this. And it's gonna just shoot hard. So one more drop, and ideally you want that kind of quicker, and you want it to snap back. And what better way to do that with a gap down, gaps down and gaps back up? That would be the best, like a V shape bounce. 1 hour. Yeah, this is just waiting to knife here. It's gonna knife so hard. Not like so hard to the point where it's gonna break new lows, but I think you're gonna get a dip. And that on the 4 hour will complete our higher low, which is what you need for a reversal. You need that higher low. Higher low. You need something like that. Now, it may not be something that you guys won't want to hear. I know all y'all want to hear is just the thing's going to rocket, but I'm letting you know what I see. And you got to be patient. This thing is going to make you wait. So take a look here on the 4 hour time frame. If you were to study, again, the last 100% rally on the 4 hour time frame before we bottomed out, take a look. A higher low marked the bottom. You need a higher low to start this thing off and kick it off. Right? That is very, very, very important. And I think that's going to be something in the works early next week. So you got to be a little more patient here. 2 hours supports that. I could see another big drop coming. 1 hour supports that as well. 24 hours. I mean, we could still get a drop here before it decides to give you that next pop. And when it pops, I'm anticipating a big move like that. I think you're gonna get, and you can measure that with Fibonacci tools, guys. You can go, okay, if this was your first, this kind of looks like a first wave here. You could say, oh, hey, look, it went up to 1.27. What that means is your fifth wave can't be more than your third wave, which is like a common Elliott wave thing. I know this just because I don't know why I know this. It's because everybody talks about this. Which means you can expect 692, but not over that. It can't be more than your third wave. Anyways, I'm not here to talk about alleyways. I want to talk about price targets, but even if it hits on a modest 100%, 6.39, that's going to overshoot 550. Okay. And you want it to kind of come down, back up, overshoot, and perhaps you get another cool down. Maybe it does this. It cools down and then it does this. It could be that. It could be that. But that's it. That's my analysis for NEO for this week. We're going down next week for a short dip. And that will be, in my opinion, the dip before the rip. It's coming. The big move's coming, and it's going to all of a sudden be up 10, 15, 20%. And bears are going to be in shambles, I think. That's what I think. I don't want to brag and talk shit because nothing's a guarantee. Nothing's a guarantee, right? When it comes down, if it rejects and you get something like that, that's a big warning sign. You got to look for that. I don't think that's the case, but you want to look for that. Based off everything that I'm seeing, and it's looking good, even from the velocity standpoint, 2 and 4 hours, there's a much bigger move building up. And I don't see it breaking down yet, and I see it pushing way higher. Baidu. On the 24 hours, let's see if Baidu's the same thing. Baidu gave you like already a drop. What am I drawing here? I had some drawings. I was looking at this earlier. I could see it dropping on the 2 hours, giving you that knife, and then running. I think Baba is the same thing. Baba already did give you a drop, but there's earnings coming up. 24, Baba. I think Baba might do this. Come down for that last knife and like a V-shape bounce, especially with earnings. Perfect time to flush people out. And that would be kind of like that second trend line. It would rip, it break. I'm a little biased with this. I'm trying to line this up with Neo. If I go in the 2 hour time frame, can I see it? Can I find it? Yeah, I do. I see it. I don't know if you guys see it, but I see it right there. I see this, double top, lower high. It's going to knife, and then it's going to start giving you that big rally. See it all the time. Doesn't have to go that high, but I think little creep higher, and you get that knife. And then you got earnings. Fill the gap, and then run. Seng index. I was looking at this earlier before making this video. 2 hours. The one thing I don't like about the 2 hours is that it made a lower low on the 200-day moving average. And traditionally, when you see something like that, which happened over here, you'll get a move. You get a move to the upside, and I think it's still forming that move to the upside. Like you'll get this completed move to the upside, but it's usually followed by another knife. So let's just say it goes like this, another move to the upside. I might be confusing some of you guys because I'm using blue. I'll turn it yellow. As you guys can imagine, I should turn that white so you guys can follow along. Not sure if this makes sense to you guys, but this is what I think needs to happen for the Seng index to bottom, is it needs to form that higher low. So there will be another liftoff followed by a drop, and I think that drop can happen. And this liftoff, by the way, it's not a guarantee. If I were to align this with Neo and say everything's going to align with Neo, maybe everything drops one more time. And it goes like that, kind of like in this fashion. Makes sense. I honestly, I'm not confident with the Seng index. I don't know what to think about it because when I was looking at the velocity earlier, and it broke below the 200-day moving average, right over here. Not sure what to think about that because it did it here once and twice, and those were both fake outs. It just kind of continued to chop. Because we have not tapped the top of this and we're nearing, and if I also consider the fact that we're above the center line here, which is a very good thing, it's reclaimed that, I'm still aiming for this thing kind of at the very least to come in and give you that test to 26, 27. That's where I'm aiming here. I believe that is in the works here. Very interesting. I still believe that's still a thing. And if it breaks below, well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. We're not gonna talk about that. I don't think the Hang Seng index is ready to break down. I think it's ready to make a big move, and it's just being tricky. Very, very tricky. And choppy. And sorry, I want to make one last comment. When you see this, a higher high followed by a higher low, it's usually this lower low is the fake out. Usually it's like trying to actually shake people out before this thing goes absolutely crazy. Usually. This is probably the 1 week that I'm not like the Hang Seng index. I don't know what it'll do going into next week. 2 hours. Yeah, I think like the way I said it, just looking at the 2 hours, I think it could grind up a bit higher and then give you that next drop. One more drop down and then boom. Dixie, sorry, it's a big mess. My chart's a big mess. Let me start deleting some of these things. So I can't even read the chart, which means you guys can't probably read the chart. I have been talking about these two trend lines breaking and like it making a big move. It did make a big move. It moved from 96 up to 100, which is a 4% move to the upside. Are you guys looking here on this pullback? And you're looking here on that pullback. You can kind of see it like stabilizing. And when it goes and breaks, will it make another big move higher up to back to 100? Potentially. I mean, like if it were to make the big move, 104 is where I would be aiming for that Dixie. And this is something that I've been wrong on the past. I thought it would make a much faster move on this. I'm watching it on the 24-hour time frames. It still looks good. If you look at the 24-hour time frame on the velocity on the Dixie, higher high, higher low, you could still get continuation, and it can give you another push higher, perhaps into that 100, 101 zone. That will kind of freak out the market a little bit, and you might see it pull back a little. And that lines up with like us seeing like that last dip on Neo. But I think that's it. That sums up my video, guys. It's still very, very healthy. It hasn't broken below. And in fact, if you were to look at from a time frame perspective, this is probably the longest it's ever spent in a long time above 451. Like that is 14 days. It only lasted 7 days here. And this was the last time I think it went above that. 14 days. The following week, massive gap up. And then it went 11% gap up. Hey, I'd welcome that any day. It'll be pretty obvious. If you get like 11% gap up, it's game on. Like that is like no question of a doubt. I don't think that's what I'm seeing here. I think you get one more drop. Something like that. All right, guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash the thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you have any questions, leave it in the comment section below. If I have some time, I'll definitely get back to you guys. I hope you guys all have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for tuning in, and take care.